everybody, welcome to Daily Inspirations. I am Michelle Dawn. Today I am doing a plan with me in my color block layout happy planner, which is my wellness / health tracking planner. And I am using Romantic Florals sticker book from Planything. So if you'd like to see that, stick around. Thanks. If you watched my last plan with me, you will know that I cannot plan and talk at the same time. And also I'm extremely slow. So therefore I record a voiceover so that you don't have to watch me take a painfully long amount of time. And also I get to talk about things that aren't necessarily related to the stickers and the planner. Setting up my wellness / health tracking planner. So I'm putting the boxes on the left side of the page for recording all of my health stats, including weather, sleep hours, pain, mood, meds, symptoms, notes, steps, and anything else that comes up during the day. And then I will be just putting decorations down. I write a lot in most of these boxes, so I don't decorate a whole lot in the middle of the page so that I still have room to write. Today's topic that we're going to talk about while you watch me decorate my planner is World Read Aloud Day, which is February 2nd. I looked up World Read Aloud Day on nationaldaycalendar.com, and this is what it says. Here's a little bit about the history of the day. Lit World, all one word, LITWORLD, a nonprofit organization that promotes literacy, created World Read Aloud Day in 2010. Their mission is to strengthen kids and communities through the power of stories. The well-known book publisher Scholastic sponsors World Read Aloud Day. World Read Aloud Day highlights the importance of reading aloud and sharing stories. Participants are encouraged to select a book, find a friend, and read aloud. When parents read aloud to their kids, it helps foster language development and social emotional learning. It promotes happiness and it creates a spark in children to become joyful readers themselves. Other benefits of reading aloud include it helps to acquire a larger vocabulary, builds a connection between the spoken and written word, helps to increase attention span, strengthens cognition, provides a safe way to explore strong emotions. Millions of people in over 170 countries celebrate this day. To participate, simply find someone or a group of people to read a book to. To spread awareness, use the hashtag World Read Aloud Day. Looking back at my spread, I am starting to place the decorative stickers. The boxes will be functional. And now I get to put the flowers where I want them. If you see me, it looks like I'm counting the boxes down the column. It's because I am remembering which tracking item goes in which row, and certain rows I don't need as much space, so I can put more decoration in them. So while you are watching me decorate that part of the spread, I am going to read aloud to you. I have chosen a short story by Ray Bradbury, and it is one of the 12 short stories the late science fiction legend wrote for Esquire. And it was originally published in Esquire in February of 1951. I am reading this directly from the website esquire.com. The Last Night of the World by Ray Bradbury. What would you do if you knew this was the last night of the world? What would I do? You mean, seriously? Yes, seriously. I don't know, I hadn't thought. She turned the handle of the silver coffee pot toward him and placed the 2 cups in their saucers. He poured some coffee. In the background, the 2 small girls were playing blocks on the parlor rug in the light of the green hurricane lamps. There was an easy, clean aroma of brewed coffee in the evening air. Well, better start thinking about it, he said. What do you mean, said his wife. He nodded. A war? He shook his head. Not the hydrogen or atom bomb. No. Or germ warfare? None of those at all, he said, stirring his coffee slowly and staring into its black depths. But just the closing of a book, let's say. I don't think I understand. No, nor do I really. It's just a feeling. Sometimes it frightens me. Sometimes I'm not frightened at all, but peaceful. He glanced in at the girls and their yellow hair shining in the bright lamplight and lowered his voice. I didn't say anything to you. It happened about 4 nights ago. What? A dream I had. I dreamt that it was all going to be over, and a voice said it was. Not any kind of voice I can remember, but a voice anyway, and it said things would stop here on Earth. I didn't think too much about it when I woke the next morning, but when I went to work and the feeling was with me all day, I caught Stan Willis looking out the window in the middle of the afternoon, and I said, Penny for your thoughts, Stan? And he said, I had a dream last night. And before he even told me the dream, I knew what it was. I could have told him, but he told me, and I listened to him. It was the same dream? Yes, I told Stan I had dreamed it too. He didn't seem surprised. He relaxed, in fact. Then we started walking through offices, for the hell of it. It wasn't planned. We didn't say, let's walk around. We just walked on our own. And everywhere we saw people looking at their desks, or their hands, or out the windows, and not seeing what was in front of their eyes. I talked to a few of them. So did Stan. And all of them had dreamed? All of them. The same dream, with no difference. Do you believe in the dream? Yes. I've never been more certain. And when will it stop? The world, I mean. Sometime during the night for us, and then, as the night goes on around the world, those advancing portions will go too. It'll take 24 hours for all of it to go. They sat a while, not touching their coffee. Then they lifted it slowly and drank, looking at each other. Do we deserve this? She said. It's not a matter of deserving. It's just that things didn't work out. I noticed you didn't even argue about this. Why not? I guess I have a reason, she said. The same reason everyone at the office had? She nodded. I didn't want to say anything. It happened last night, and the women on the block are talking about it, just among themselves. She picked up the evening paper and held it toward him. There's nothing in the news about it. No, everyone knows, so what's the need? He took the paper and sat back in his chair looking at the girls and then at her. Are you afraid? No, not even for the children. I always thought I would be frightened to death, but I'm not. Where's that spirit of self-preservation the scientists talk about so much? I don't know. You don't get too excited when you feel things are logical. This is logical. Nothing else but this could have happened from the way we've lived. We haven't been too bad, have we? No, nor enormously good. I suppose that's the trouble. We haven't been very much of anything except us, while a big part of the world was busy being lots of quite awful things. The girls were laughing in the parlor as they waved their hands and tumbled down their house of blocks. I always imagined people would be screaming in the streets at a time like this. I guess not. You don't scream about the real thing. Do you know, I won't miss anything but you and the girls. I never liked cities or autos or factories or my work or anything except you three. I won't miss a thing, except my family, and perhaps the change in the weather and a cool glass of water when the weather's hot, or the luxury of sleeping. Just the little things, really. How can we sit here and talk this way? Because there's nothing else to do. That's it, of course, for if there were, we'd be doing it. I suppose this is the first time in the history of the world that everyone has really known just what they were going to be doing during the last night. I wonder what everyone else will do now, this evening, for the next few hours. Go to a show, listen to the radio, watch the TV, play cards, put children to bed, go to bed themselves like always. In a way, that's something to be proud of, like always. We're not all bad. They sat a moment, and then he poured more coffee. Why do you suppose it's tonight? Because. Why not some night in the past 10 years, or in the last century, or 5 centuries, or 10? Maybe it's because it was never February 30th, 1951, ever before in history. And now it is, and that's it. Because this date means more than any other date ever meant, and because it's the year when things are as they are all over the world, and that's why it's the end. There are bombers on their course both ways across the ocean tonight that'll never see land again. That's part of the reason why. Well, he said, what shall it be? Wash the dishes? They washed the dishes carefully and stacked them away with especial neatness. At 8:30, the girls were put to bed and kissed goodnight, and the little lights by their beds turned on and the door left a trifle open. I wonder, said the husband, coming out and looking back, standing there with his pipe for a moment. What? If the door should be shut all the way, or if it should be left just a little ajar so we can hear them if they call. I wonder if the children know, if anyone mentioned anything to them. No, of course not. They'd have asked us about it. They sat and read the papers and talked and listened to some radio music and then sat together by the fireplace looking at the charcoal embers as the clock struck 10:30 and 11 and 11:30. They thought of all of the other people in the world who had spent their evening, each in their own special way. Well, he said at last. He kissed his wife for a long time. We've been good for each other anyway. Do you want to cry? He asked. I don't think so. They went through the house and turned out the lights and locked the doors and went into the bedroom and stood in the night-cool darkness, undressing. She took the spread from the bed and folded it carefully over a chair as always and pushed back the covers. The sheets are so cool and clean and nice, she said. I'm tired. We're both tired. They got into bed and lay back. Wait a moment, she said. He heard her get up and go out into the back of the house, and then he heard the soft shuffling of a swinging door. A moment later, she was back. I left the water running in the kitchen, she said. I turned the faucet off. Something about this was so funny that he had to laugh. She laughed with him, knowing what it was that she had done that was so funny. They stopped laughing at last and lay in their cool night bed, their hands clasped, their heads together. Good night, he said after a moment. Good night, she said, adding softly, dear. The end. I chose that story for several reasons. One, it was written or published in February of 1951. Two, because of the state of the world we're in now, and I do strongly believe that we need to do better for each other, by each other, with each other. And also, it was a little bit of a love story, I think, because the husband and wife, they obviously love each other. Anyway, and February is the month of love, so we gotta have that. I have, going back to my spread, I have placed some floral and leaf stickers down the middle or across the middle of the page. That section is my mood tracking section, and I have a number, and then I usually write only one or a few words in that section, so I have a lot of space. The washi across the top row is to separate the weather from the sleep hours. I combine those both in the same box because they're basically just one little piece of information, and I don't need a whole box. I wanted to save that space for other things. I have quite a few things that I track. Also, I made decisions about certain stickers and then decided I didn't like them there. So you'll see this one that I'm placing now, I will move in a few minutes here. I hope that you're enjoying this plan with me voiceover style, I really, the neurological issues make it impossible for me to do a normal plan with me and talk you through it. And also I react to the smell of the vinyl stickers as well as the adhesive. And it's pretty much impossible to not touch the adhesive no matter how hard I try. I do use the tweezers and try to use like the edges of my nails more often. But occasionally my skin does touch the adhesive, and it does. I don't react like a physical reaction. I mean, I do. It is a physical reaction, but it's neurological. I don't get a rash or a blister or anything where the adhesive has been, unless I have it on there for a while. For example, like a Band-Aid or, medical tape. So, reason that I am so sensitive to chemicals, partially, is that I was exposed to toxic mold for years and years and years and didn't realize it. I was getting a lot of really odd symptoms. I have always had asthma my entire life, and that didn't get any worse. I didn't have any coughing. There wasn't. I was getting sinus infections quite often, and I got bronchitis a couple of times, but nothing that really indicated to me that I should be looking for mold in my house. I was actually, I believe my very, very first symptom was fatigue, just major fatigue. I would come home from work and fall asleep in the driveway because I was so tired I couldn't even get out of my car. And of course, I kind of chalked it up to being a new mom. I had, we bought the house in 2004. My daughter was born in 2005. My son was born in 2007. Around 2007, it was just getting so bad that it was almost impossible to function. And then by 2011, it was impossible for me to function. I couldn't work anymore. But I'll tell you a few of the things that it started with so that you're aware and can look for those things yourself in you or your children. One of the weird things that happened was Raynaud's syndrome, which is when your fingers or hands or feet, particularly fingers and toes, turn purple or blue when cold. Another bizarre one was pressure hives, migraines, just all kinds of really weird things going on that, like I said, you would never guess were mold related. So I encourage you, if you have any symptoms that don't make sense, to please find an environmental medicine doctor, because traditional doctors do not test for mold. They do not acknowledge mold damage to your body. They're just not there yet. And I think has a lot to do with insurance companies. So now in my spread, I am writing down all of the different categories that I track for my health. Like I said earlier, weather, sleep, pain, mood, meds, symptoms, notes, and steps. I write the steps along the bottom. Last week I wrote them on the washi with the pen I'm using now, the I think it's called a Unipen pen. And it writes on vinyl stickers and things like that. So it wrote really nicely on the washi. And there's a finished spread just to show you how it works. All done. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you for the next one. Thanks for watching. As always, stay inspired.